Here on Treaty 7 territory, nestled in the Rocky Mountains with the mighty Bow River at an altitude of 1,309 meters. Born from coal dust in 1884 and ever-changing, this is Canmore, and we are Canmorites, and this is the Canmorite Podcast. Let's go. Hey there, it's me, Jeff, again. We're back here on the Canmorite Podcast, and about a couple years ago, I remember I was in Italy, and Italy was an amazing time, but one of the things that really impressed upon me in that trip was the coffee culture. And I started getting into coffee out in Italy, and when I came back home to Canmore, I kept it up. I really wasn't super informed about coffee, and coming back here, it's been like a real pleasant surprise, because with me here, I have...
My name's Dean Smolicz.
And Dean Smolicz is the amazing proprietor of Eclipse Coffee. Dean, how are you today?
I'm very good, thanks. And yourself?
I'm pretty good. I'm actually really excited to talk to you because one of the things I'm really curious about, tell us the origin story of Eclipse, which I think is, in my mind, an incredible coffee roastery here in the Bow Valley.
Awesome, thank you. We started Eclipse, or what was named as Rave Coffee, here in Canmore about 11 years ago.
Right.
So we started off on Bow Valley Trail as a small roastery with a little cafe, and we expanded now into our new location to Railway Ave. We have a few cafes around town as well.
Excellent. And so when you got into coffee, I remember when the original days when Rave came about. What is it that motivated you to bring coffee here to Canmore in the Bow Valley? Because there was already a couple other people doing the coffee thing. What was your individual stamp?
I think it goes back to saying kind of that European kind of style in the coffee. So I was originally from the UK, and the coffee culture there was a little different, especially with kind of the espresso side of the drinks.
Okay.
So it was kind of going back to the UK and kind of seeing that, and being like, it was my family who started Rave Coffee.
So there's a Rave Coffee in the UK. That was the beginning.
Yes, and my aunt and uncle kind of had a small roastery, and it was going back there and seeing what they were doing. I was like, this is really cool. I can, this is something I feel that I could bring to the Bow Valley. So I spent some time going back there and doing some training and learning and build up a business plan. To open up something here in Canmore to kind of bring that style of coffee from Europe to here. Oh
my gosh, that's amazing. And I know you changed the name at one point. What was the reason behind that? Because I remember seeing the Rave on the corner there, and then it became Eclipse. Well, what was that all about?
Yeah, so it goes back to what was going on in the UK. So we're going through a change, and we're looking to sell kind of the business there, at which point it wasn't possible for us to keep the name. To avoid any conflict with the sale of that business. So we went through a rebranding stage. It took about a year, and we came up with Eclipse.
What was the second closest name before Eclipse? I'm just totally curious.
We had a few different ones.
Okay.
We kind of put it out to a few close friends. And see what stuck. I remember one was Elevate.
Elevate, yep.
We've actually named one of our coffees that we do, one of our blends, Elevate. We wanted to get, the idea was to go beyond.
Right.
Is where kind of the transition from Rave to Eclipse. So Eclipse, even though most people think maybe solar eclipse and things like that, actually came from to go beyond to constantly.
Oh, like eclipse what you prior.
To eclipse what we were previously doing. So it was always kind of that we always wanted to improve and move forward.
Yeah.
So that's where Eclipse came. Like Elevate as well, kind of a similar
right.
thing. It just so happened as well, kind of found out afterwards that you kind of see around Canmore is Canmore Go Beyond.
I know, that was a town of Canmore branding piece, Go Beyond.
Yeah, so it also kind of linked nicely in there by accident.
Right.
As well. So
okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a very interesting time. 5 years into a business and rebranding, it was tough. We came out the other side well and doing well today.
Well, you guys are crushing it. I was in Calgary the other day. There's a shop, I think it's called Coffee Addicts. I was just kind of checking them out. And they had Eclipse Coffee there.
Yep.
And those guys, they're connoisseurs and they bring out the best stuff. So it's really kind of neat to see like the hometown heroes, their product being shown up in the city. Tell me about the journey of like the roasting piece, because I find when I walk into, say, the railway location, there's so many different types of bags of beans, and I was like, how do you guys do it? Like, what's the story behind the roaster?
Yeah, so we want to offer a coffee, not just there's. You can go in, you get your lighter roasts, your medium roasts, your darker roasts. We wanted to try and find a way of accommodating as many people as possible. So our style of roasting is more on the lighter side. So we're doing a lot of single origins, lighter coffees, but then we also do a few blends as well to kind of offer that kind of side of it for espresso and those kind of slightly darker coffees. So the roaster that we have is a 15 kilo topper roaster.
Yep.
But it's all linked to a computer system where we can monitor what's going on in the coffee roaster. So it enables us to do all these different profiles of coffee and maintain the quality and consistency as well.
Wow. And how do you guys source your beans? Because you do have a whole broad swath of regions from around the world that you bring the beans in. How do you make those decisions?
Yeah, we work with a lot of trusted partners.
Okay.
Take Brazil for an example. The partners we have are direct buyers from Brazil. They work with the farmers there. They will send us samples periodically of what they've got new coming in, and then from those samples we can choose what we want to buy.
Right.
So we have constantly coffee that's in Brazil that's being shipped and then eventually gets delivered to us here. So that's one example.
Right.
Brazil, Colombia as well, the same kind of relationship. Someone who's going out there to the farms and talking to the farmers and bringing us back samples. So it's working as directly as possible with the farmers and making sure that it's sustainably produced and the farmers are also being paid fairly.
Okay. And do you ever get a chance to actually be like boots on the ground and visit one of the farms or go to a certain... I know it's tough when you have like two kids, but that must be an interesting piece.
It's definitely on the list of things.
Okay.
We were chatting about this a couple of weeks ago.
Oh.
The people who I have from Brazil, they came to Canmore.
Yeah.
We were kind of chatting over dinner stuff, and that's definitely something I want to do in the future.
Oh my gosh. Which part of Brazil are they in?
They are from. It's kind of a range kind of around Brazil. The Minas kind of area, I believe, is kind of the majority.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Oh my God!
Visit all parts of Brazil.
I have never been to that country, and it's like such a huge one on my bucket list to check out. And for you right now, what's the most exciting thing for you in the world of Eclipse? Because here you are, you hit the 11-year mark. The business is doing great. The quality of the product's fantastic. What are you super keen and excited about with the next stage of Eclipse now?
Yeah, we've gone through a period here of growth.
Yep.
So we're just looking consolidating kind of what we got going on at the moment. But it's constantly seeing where the coffee industry goes, and it's evolving.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of new experimental processing going on at the farm level.
Yeah.
Where they're either fermenting the coffee in certain ways, or they're actually starting now to like co-ferment things. And when I say that, we had a limited release coffee that we brought in as an experiment that was co-fermented with strawberries.
Oh wow.
So they took the strawberries, they added it to the fermentation process, added a strawberry note to the coffee.
Wow.
So it's controversial, kind of doing that.
Sure.
It has to be the right things that are going in.
Okay.
Can't just throw anything in there.
Yeah.
And the coffee's still got to be well processed.
Right.
But it's interesting to seeing what the farm level they're doing there and experimenting with different processes.
Wow. So what's driving the innovation at the farm level? Is this coming from the roasters themselves, or they're just curious at the farm level to try something different? I'm curious about that.
I think it's being driven by the roasters a lot of it.
Okay.
Wanting to find, kind of something new and something that stands out.
Yeah.
So letting feedback to the farms, and especially the fermentation process, it's been about a 5-year process now.
Oh wow.
Where they'll put coffee into barrels, completely sealed, so it's anaerobic. It ferments the coffee and gives it almost kind of a boozy note, because sugars and the yeast naturally within the fruit ferment, and you get kind of that alcohol kind of process. I mean, there's no alcohol in the coffee.
Sure.
You're getting those kind of a little bit of those boozy notes kind of in there. So as they've experimented and consumer, wants,
Yeah.
to try all these new things.
Yeah.
That's being relayed onto the farms. There's a much higher price point
Sure.
on those coffees
Yeah. Process heavy.
because of the experimentation kind of process and
Yeah.
the risk that farmers are taking
Right.
to do that. Because not everything's going to come out well when you're experimenting like that.
Sure.
But it is a way for them to increase, the value of their product.
Wow, that is super fascinating. I gotta try one of those. And for yourself, Dean, like I know you've obviously drank a lot of coffee. What's your favorite way of having a coffee?
I will typically every morning have a cappuccino.
Okay.
It's kind of the one drink,
Mm-hmm.
the cafe to kind of really kind of see what's going on,
Yep.
kind of quality wise. So
Mm-hmm.
um, every morning, kind of want to see what's kind of going on, make sure
Right.
the quality's up. You can
Okay.
notice small things kind of changing,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's on the roasting side or on the bar side,
Right.
just to make sure the customer's getting the best quality possible.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of my favorite kind of drink, it's
Yeah.
kind of more of a pour over,
Yeah.
black coffee, something a little bit lighter, a little bit fruity.
Yes.
It's
What do you think of
Horrible
people
weekend.
that? What do you think of people that put cream in their coffee?
I think there's a place for everyone, and this is why we don't like just do light roasts and things like that.
For sure.
We do
Yeah.
batch brews, kind of
Yeah.
a slightly darker coffee
Yeah.
that pairs well with milk.
Yeah.
It's the same as our espresso
Yeah.
blend. It's designed to pair well with milk, but there's also an element of what kind of coffee.
Right.
A lighter, brighter coffee. As soon as you add milk or cream to it, it's going to dilute it,
Yeah.
and it's not going to have much body to it. It can also curdle sometimes if the acidity is too high. So,
Right.
I think there's people who are liking to add a little bit of cream and sugar.
Mhm.
That's fine.
Okay.
As long as it's in the right type of coffee.
Gotcha. Because personally, I think the bright coffees, the more fruity, experimental, fun ones that you guys have Eclipse, are by far my favorite ones. And sometimes I'll make a cup for my wife, and she'll drink a bunch, and she'll just add cream to it. I'm like,
Yeah.
stop.
And the great thing about the lighter roast coffees is
Yeah.
there is a natural sweetness to it.
Mhm.
So remembering coffee started as a
Yeah.
fruit, there are lots of sugars and different
Yeah.
acidities within the coffee.
Yeah.
So we're roasting to enhance those when we roast it a little bit lighter,
Right.
especially the acidity.
And what sort of advice would you give to someone that's maybe early in their coffee journey, or maybe they've been kind of drinking coffee in a more journeyman sort of way, and maybe they're curious of taking to a higher level of connoisseurship or appreciation? What's some tips you could give them?
So we have three categories of coffee.
Yep.
We have a bold, balanced, and bright.
Mhm.
So instead of calling it a dark roast or medium roast or light roast, we
Yep.
categorize the coffees based on the flavor profile. So more traditional coffee drinkers, you like kind of those bolder notes.
Yep.
We have coffees for that. But then it's kind of starting to play down a little bit. So going into more of a balanced coffee.
Mhm.
So a lot of our Brazilian coffees we do, we kind of roast more on the medium side. They're nice and sweet.
Yep.
So it's a great way of starting to experiment kind of down.
Mhm.
Some people just don't like the light roast and those fruity notes. But by working down a little bit, you can kind of reach,
Yeah.
you kind of your area of what you like, and then we'll have different coffees within that category range.
Right.
Start it.
I find that whole, I guess it's the whole continuum of coffees you guys have really interesting, but I'm definitely, as you noted, really loving the more esoteric, sort of fun, quirky, the sort of stuff where sometimes I'll drink it, I'll have my wife try it, she's like, wow, it's almost like tea,
Yeah.
or it's like so floral, or like all these things. And I just find it really, really fascinating. So Dean, there's a crazy event coming up this Saturday here at Eclipse. What is it? Fill me in.
Yes, we have the Aeropress competition.
Aeropress Comp,
Yeah.
yes.
So it's a fun little device that
Yeah.
it's been around for quite a while now.
Mhm.
And they do a national competition every year.
Right.
And it actually goes, it's not just national, it's worldwide.
Mhm.
So we host one of the qualifiers.
Okay.
So the winner and runner-up from our competition here on Saturday will then
Yep.
go on to the national competition.
Where's Nationals this year?
It's going to be in Calgary.
Oh, okay, that's good. So it's close.
There's no date, or I don't think the venue's kind of been figured out yet.
Right. Okay.
But from there, if you win the nationals, then they'll send you,
To Worlds.
onto the world's costs all covered.
Oh my God.
Flights and accommodation things. So
Yeah.
I believe it's in should know this. I think it's in Greece this year.
Okay, going to Greece.
The worldwide finals.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great fun environment. There's going to be a DJ playing. So there's going to be music going. It's all done in a fun environment. So it doesn't matter if you've picked up an Aeropress and you've only been using it for 2 weeks, or you've been using it for 10 years. It's a level playing field throughout. So we've actually had people who have been novices who've got really far.
Oh my goodness, that's music to my ears, because I'm actually going in. So like this Saturday, May 24th, I think competition starts at what time? It's
at 2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock, and it's free for people to come watch. And like, I gotta self-profess, I'm pretty crude in my Aeropress techniques, but one of the reasons why I wanted to go was just to learn and see how other people are brewing coffee with this amazing device. And so I'm super keen. And yeah, it's good. It's also good. My kids are gonna come watch, and it's good for them to, you know, see me do stuff that puts me outside my comfort zone. It's going to be a blast. Oh my God. And so, Dean, you've obviously imbibed a lot of coffee over your lifetimes. What's the most cups of coffee you've ever had in one day?
Oh, we don't have cups of coffee. We do a lot of cupping, so it's kind of a lot of tasting of the different samples that we go through. We could have some big tables. We were tasting a lot of different coffees.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, if you don't plan the day accordingly, kind of having coffee in the morning, and then usually kind of one kind of later on in the afternoon. But then if you throw in a cupping session, you forgot about it, and then it ends up being quite a bit. So yeah, try and avoid after 3 o'clock of having too much caffeine.
So that cupping session, that's kind of fascinating. You're almost like a sommelier in some sort of way. How do you ensure that when you go into that cupping session that you like, are your taste buds a certain way? Like how do you know when you come in? Because that's such a fascinating sort of way to check for what it is that you're looking for the final product.
Yeah, there's a lot of practice that kind of goes into it, and like the more and more you do it, the better you get. Just kind of the palate, developing that palate as you go along. You start off with you go through and you just taste all the coffees without thinking about it too much, and just kind of cleanse the palate. And then you kind of go back and analyze each coffee from there, and it's a lot easier to pick out which ones you prefer. And as the coffee's cool as well, they can kind of change as well. So we start off when they're a little hotter, and then we'll go back again once they've cooled, and the sweetnesses start to develop a little bit more. So yeah, there's a whole process and evaluation we kind of go through, and it's a great way of, if it's new coffees or our own coffees, just tasting more at the same time. With a level playing field.
Wow, so there's clearly such an art to that sort of point. Will you be one of the judges at the Aeropress comp?
I'm not going to be one.
Thank God.
We have very good judges who have a lot of experience. I'd love to be a judge. I'm going to have a lot of work to do.
You're hosting.
Organizing and hosting.
Gotcha.
We have 3 great judges.
Oh my gosh, amazing. I'm so looking forward to it. We're getting close to the end here. I think one of the best things I've heard come out of Deadman's Flats in the MD of Bighorn is what?
We have a new cafe coming open since October there.
That's so great, because I know like the community of Deadman's is constantly expanding, and I think one of the things that makes any community worthwhile is services. So when I heard that you guys were going in, what drove the decision to get into Deadman's?
A lot of it was community based. So knowing the development that's happening in Deadman's. Anything that was there, kind of restaurant-wise, is now not standing. And I think it was well known that people at Deadman's requested something like a cafe,
like some place to hang out.
Yeah, it's just kind of a community place. So yeah, we want it to be not just being a cafe, but also a community meeting spot as well. Kind of developing, the MD, kind of the community of Deadman's has a great community already. Very close knit, that we kind of found out. So we wanted to just offer something to that community. Now,
so it's also becoming a little hub there for that part of the world.
There's a lot of development kind of coming in that area. It should be fun kind of going forward as we enter the summer here.
Right on. So first summer coming up. For those of you guys in the MD, especially in Deadman's, make sure you check out the Eclipse there. Well, Dean, it's been a super lovely conversation. This is my first time actually meeting you in person, and you're such a lovely human. And I just want to wish you tons of continued success. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me. I really appreciate it.
Right on.